It's been about 3 seconds. I caught you staring at her ass, didn't I? It's okay. It's okay. It's right about now. You wish you didn't even have a right arm, right? Look. Oh, it's gone. There it is. Hey, oh, boo. Oh, there it is. It's kind of like sexy peekaboo. Whatever, though. So, this is Skye. I am playing Paladins. What's quack-a-lackin', guys? My name is Pone. So, I know what you're asking yourself. What is Paladins? And is Skye single? But I don't know. She won't return my calls. The game is actually really incredible. I find myself waking up wanting to play it at some point during the day, which obviously means it's got its fangs sunk into me, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's currently in beta for PC only at the current time. Eventually it will probably grace at least Xbox One, and if not, maybe PS4 as well. But we do know they will eventually come over to console, but this is an early beta, and they take a lot of time to polish their games. Hi-Rez is, in fact, my favorite, studio out there that creates games. They're so involved in their community. They're the founders and creators of Smite, which is my favorite MOBA, which is pretty much what like a League of Legends is for those that are unaware of what that genre is. And I absolutely adore this game because it's a first-person shooter. It kind of has this TF2/Unreal look. I mean, just the mechanics about it, the movement, seeing as how there's things, of course, you throw horses in the mix, and that's a completely new thing. But I can sit here all day long and try to define what this game is, and it's not an easy feat because it's different. Now, what you're noticing is the traditional gameplay is that of a shooter. You see these things, but each one of these characters has 3 abilities. They all pretty much have 2 things in common. One of them usually has at least one aggressive attack-based kind of ability. One of them has an evade or even initiation, depending on the type of character, where it just clears all debuffs and they start running around or doing something like that. And then the second one, the middle one, is just generally up for grabs. Now, I am playing as Skye. She is considered an assassin, and what you do with her is simple. So she has invisibility, as you just saw right there, and I can run around and maneuver. So I could technically use it as an evade to get out of tricky situations, start gaining my health back, trying to be sneaky in any form, in any way that I'd like. But not to mention it can be used aggressively. One of her primary attacks leaves a giant time bomb behind. So if I wanted to, I can use it as an initiation. They're on the control point. I go in there invisible, drop a deuce on the plate, and walk away. Now, of course, I'm in jeopardy doing that because the moment I do drop the bomb, you'll notice that I'm visible and therefore have to fight a pile of people. But it's a strategy, so you have to use your abilities in the way you want because they do have significant cooldowns. My second ability is also an aggressive one because of the type of character I am. As an assassin, I'm meant to do damage. She kind of turns her hand upside down and straight Spider-Man's the enemy. And these are poisonous rounds that do debuff, they do damage, and it's a considerable thing. And as you can see, I was waiting to let them get inside and then put my bomb down. I did a little bit of damage to him and start peeling to them. So these are strategies. You have to play to your character's strengths. Some of them are more tanky. Some of them are kind of hybrid. Some of them are more defensive. Some of them are more aggressive like the assassins. And you got to use them however you would like to. And of course, each of them have different types of abilities. He had a hover and he got away as his evade. Some characters have turrets and shields. So you have to use your character in the way you need to benefit your team. It is an extremely strategic and team-based game. And that's what's so adorable about it. Now, I will tell you that it does get complicated. You're going to need to play all the characters to kind of get a feel for what it is, but it has elements that you would expect out of a MOBA, minus the whole minion and creep wave and stuff like that. There's basically a plate that you have to fight over and control, a kind of king of the hill moment, and when it's all the way charged up and your team has sat on it and built up the point, a siege engine spawns. This siege engine attacks the enemy base. There's basically a couple doors that you have to break down. Turrets defend it, so if you're running in there without it, the turrets are going to poop on you. And then after that, there's finally the vault. Killing the vault opens it up, allows you guys to be successful, and you move on. But here's the twist. This is where things get really cool with this game. It's also card-based. They can also be put on cooldown upon activating. You can see that I have 3 of my 5 potential cards in the bottom right. You progressively earn these by playing well and just generally time-based. So, obviously, if you play poorly, you'll get a few cards over time. But if you play just phenomenally, you may be on your 4th card before anyone else. You may be moving on really, really quick, really, really fast, and that'll give you an advantage because there's different tiers, and each one of the tiers increasingly enhances your abilities and your lethality, what you can do to enemies. So, obviously, if you're working with commons, or you're working with rares, or legendaries, or epics, or however you scale it, the more powerful and important those will be. So, it's kind of like your favorite, first-person shooter kind of slept with Hearthstone or something. So it's a card-based game that increases your dangerousness, but it's also a shooter where you play an objective. So it's a very hard-to-define game. But once you get the hang of it, it's extremely fun. So it's fast-paced. Your average fast game will go about 6-7 minutes long if you completely stomp the enemy team. And a slow, competitive, really, really good game will be about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's not over the top. It's not a general drag out like some MOBAs can be, 40 minutes long, 50 minutes long. It's a really straightforward, simple shooter that you just have to learn to build. Eventually, you can build decks with these cards. You have collections. And the way you earn these cards is by performing well. Every time you win a match, you get a chest, and it will reward you one card, which could be one potential new ability for your character. Then you can keep collecting those until you have just what you want. You may want a full cooldown build. Well, you may need this card to complete what you need. You may want one that's got just crazy attack fire and attack speed and whatever you need. So you got to build your character how you want, and those cards are randomized. I mean, there are only so many that can pop up. You may not get the one that you really want to start with on the first time, but hey, you may get it in the next game. So it does add a unique level that's going to be different. So many of your games are going to be entirely new experiences every time you play, and that's what I think is so adorable. And no, who needs a Penta? This was only like my 5th game in the game, and I cried knowing that my Penta was stolen. It hurts. So, it's a really cool game. I have a lot of fun because at its core, it's one of my favorite types, favorite genres, which is shooters. But it also has this kind of strategy element that you have to control points, push in waves, and take over their base. But you also have the card element thrown in there where you can build your decks. You can also have the fun grind of collecting all your cards and trying different builds. And for each character, that's a lot of replayability. That's a lot of time you can learn to perfect itself. So will there be a competitive edge to this game? Oh, I definitely foresee that. It's going to be big. But this is an entirely new beast. This is something I've never experienced before. I don't know if there are other games just like this out there, but it's the first time that I've ever seen something like it. And because of it, I am really liking it. I'm digging it a lot, to be honest, and I have a blast playing it. So that's what this is. You escort the siege engine to the vault, which is where we are right now. You take it down, you successfully win. And upon leveling up, earning in-game currency with coins, you can also buy Radiant Chest, which will give you 5 cards. And those could be anything. You could get anything you want from it. And it's incredible. So I will have more videos in the future of this up. Maybe live commentary showing you some of the characters so you guys can get an understanding. But it is currently in beta. You can go sign up for it if you want to. But I will definitely be giving out some codes here in the future too. So thank you guys for watching. But I will definitely be posting a lot more of this game because I have a whole lot of fun playing it. I caught you staring again, didn't I? God, such an embarrassment. But as you can tell, like I said earlier, if you win, you get a champion chest. It will give you 1 card. Maybe great, maybe new for you. As you can see, I got a duplicate. I can eventually take those duplicates and form them into new cards. So it's a really cool system they got put together. This is a Radiant chest, which you get for leveling up and other means, obviously. And unfortunately, that was kind of a bust. I got 1 rare and 4 commons. RNG hates me.